Oh man, wow. So yes, the reaction to the server slam has been very mixed so far, and Blizzard has been called out today for over-nerfing the Necro among many other things. And the melee combat against boss battles is still problematic, but the dev team does respond today about some core issues, and we find out what's being fixed during the server slam, but it's not all bad news. The community is actually responding surprisingly well to the new loot changes, and the flow of the dungeons appear to be much better. But also, I do have a new warning for you all about imprinting. Be very careful or risk having your gear locked away from you during the server slam. Also, the PS5, Xbox Series X, and Switch giveaway is still ongoing, so check out that pinned comment, and the winner will be revealed in a few weeks. But yeah, let's dive straight into this first, starting out with this one right here. It says, "Welp, Necro sucks now. Why did you do this?" Goes on to say this: "I don't know who thought the new Skelly health nerf was a fun gameplay idea, but spamming the Skelly button every other GCD just feels bad. If the spell just resummoned a new Skelly to replace your lowest health one, that might be less awful instead of just restoring 10% health over time. I mean, I could see an overall gain if you had 10 plus skeletons with the current setup, but resetting between packs is just awful now. Since you can unsummon, resummon, you just have to use up the corpses that you have to move to a new pack with damaged dudes and no corpses. Skeletons just feels like a trashy liability now, and good lord, I hope this changes before launch." And yes, there is yet another thread about the Necromancer nerf. Necro skeletons need more HP back. 1,100 upvotes. It goes to show how many of you loved the Necro build you had previously. I knew something like this was going to happen, of course. So we have this one from Rod Ferguson, who says this: "My level 20 Druid is ready for Ashava tomorrow, or at least he's level 20. I may need to mess with my skills to truly be effective against single target like that, but I'm here to collect that trophy." And Cyril says this: "Good thing you didn't make a Necromancer, or you'd end up as an undead as your minions." Whoa, shots fired. And then Biggie says this: "He slid right past the fact that you were saying that they nerf Necros minions to crap levels, huh? That's probably why he's playing Druid instead of his main, which is Necro." And Rod Ferguson did reply saying, "No, it's called testing, and the fact that I'm going to main Necro on release means I want to try some other stuff out before then. But we'll fire up Necro tomorrow to see what people are talking about." He really should. You know, Necro is Rod Ferguson's go-to. It's his favorite. So I'm sure if there's something wrong with the Necro, that they would hopefully address this by launch, or at least get some sort of patch out here during Server Slam to show us that they are willing to really listen to feedback here. All right, so furthermore, we have this one right here. Let me know if you agree with this or not. It says, "The amount of crying is going to turn this game into a loot factory. I played for 3 hours to level 20 and only got 1 legendary. It's too hard. Little goblins don't drop 20 legendaries. Some of you are forgetting what it was like to grind Mephisto for 20 hours to get a Shaco. Remember grinding for high runes? Why do you want Diablo 3 reskinned? The amount of casuals is too damn high." Do you guys agree with this, or do you want the loot to be turned back up to what it used to be, or at least adjusted to give you even more loot? However, a lot of you agree that loot is actually better now. This is what the classic Diablo feels like. You should be happy with a legendary drop, not get 500 in an hour. Diablo 3 loot system is not something they should aim for. The tuning now is a lot better than the beta. Let the grinding begin. And I think in the long term, it's going to be a lot more fun, especially when we get into the in-game scenarios. Right now, we're very limited to level 20, which does suck. I wish we could get up to level 25 so we can get our ultimates again. I'm so bummed we cannot do that. But anyway, also, players are also noticing this right here, that dungeons are actually feeling really, really good. And the fact that they actually adjusted the layouts and how that feels less backtracking. So this is something that players are taking to and noticing. It's just that they over-nerfed a lot of elements of this game, and they need to adjust that going forward. Yeah, we got to talk about my boy here, the Barbarian. Check it out. It says this: "Boss fights as melee suck. Gauging the court of public opinion. But I'm playing Barb in the server slam, and the boss fights just suck for melee. really unfun, and the boss I'm attempting for the story at the moment in Serpent Passage is pretty much unkillable to melee, definitely to my current build. Also, side note, the hitboxes on the projectiles from the rogue girl's mom are absolutely awful. It's interesting because they did say this right here previously, that the bosses were adjusted for melee character difficulty, but at the same time it's weird because you got to remember a portion of the barbarian was actually nerfed, so it ends up being kind of like same difference, doesn't it? Then we have another reply right here about the situation as well. It says, man, I tried killing her with a barb at level 18 on tier 2, and she was lacing me up with those stupid spinning rope orbs. I logged off because it wasn't fun. Maybe I'll try a different character. And when you see this, this is concerning. When you see people willing to abandon their character entirely, you're like, okay, they need to definitely look into this and rework some things. Because this was also an issue with the closed beta, with the open beta. Barbarian was just getting hit so hard during big boss battles, and this definitely needs to be addressed. All right, so I wanted to give you guys a little bit of a warning about imprinting during the server slam. Check it out right here. PSA, be careful imprinting. I just found out the hard way that certain aspects of a minimum level imprinted my body armor, and now it's set at a required level 21. So what you can accidentally do is imprint one of your beloved armor pieces, and then all of a sudden find out, hey, you have to be level 21 now to even wear it. Now, this needs to also be looked into on Blizzard side of things. You need to have a preview of what the level requirements will be when imprinting, so that definitely needs to be updated. All right, let's keep going, shall we? So yeah, you're wondering about what, Diablo team is actually tracking in terms of issues right now and what they want to address. Check it out. It says Diablo server slam known issues. This comes from the community manager, and they are tracking a bunch of different issues, including this right here. Let me zoom it in more. Player progression can be blocked in the Lost Archive dungeon if the player attempts to interact with the mechanical boxes prior to killing both demonic vanguard enemies. Players should make sure to kill the demonic vanguard enemies first in the dungeon prior to interacting with the boxes. So it's noteworthy. Now, animus carriers that die to dungeon traps do not drop animus, which will result in certain dungeons being blocked from progression. Now, affected dungeons included Hollowed Ossuary, Dead Man's Dredge, and Anakin's Claim. So, yeah, another warning right there. And they are going to be adjusting this stuff, hopefully for launch, of course, with some sort of day one patch. I would imagine that would be the case. Now, players that change speech local in the initial prologue of the game must wait for the entire package to finish downloading before they can proceed. While using a controller, the sorcerer's basic ability cannot destroy destructibles. This will only affect the player until they level up and earn their first ability. So if you're wondering what the hell is going on there, there's your answer if that's going to have to be addressed. Now, what about this? It says Raven's ability on the Druid will cause passive Ravens to stop spawning if the player town portals back to town. Now, Poison Creeper ability on the Druid will no longer attack after town portaling back to town, and the damage portion of the Druid's Perfect Storm Keystone passive does not function properly. Things they're looking into right there. And then there's a bunch of other things as well. Rabies ability on the Druid does not consistently trigger against larger enemies. Druid and Necromancer can at times look brighter than intended on the inventory screen while daylight in game. Those things will be addressed in the future. All right, let's get into some new replies from the dev team, shall we? Rod Ferguson also did say this as well. He said, when I upgraded my rare helmet to a legendary using the Codex of Power, I was not expecting to look like the Heat Miser. There he is. Now we have some replies. It says, hey, quick question. Do you know if we will be able to use our Battle.net balance to buy in-game cosmetics and stuff Battle Pass in Diablo 4? And the answer is yes. You can use it to buy platinum and then use the platinum in-game to buy what you want. So the more you know, if you have any leftover shmonies in your Battle.net, that's what you can use it for, I guess, if you want to. Or you can hold out and be like, I will never give in to the Battle Pass. All right, so Rod Ferguson had further things to say. Since my level 20 Druid is ready for Ashava tomorrow, or at least he's level 20, I may need to mess with my skills to truly be effective against a single target like that. But I'm here to collect that trophy. And we have this response here from Cosmonaut, who says, Rod, can you clarify if the Druid's Invenom skill affects all player damage on a target or just your own. Trying to figure out that out on Ashava's build. And we have paging Joseph Mara, who actually paged someone else. And then finally, we did get a response right here from Blizzard Dev Team, who says this, Lubgorin. He says, I got you. Evanim only buffs the Druid, but the poison requirement can be from any source. So yes, the more you know. Some really cool answers and insights right there. All right, so what's next? Check it out. It says, forgive my stupidity here, but do you have to up the world tier to get a shot at the boss or just be level 20? And Rod Ferguson does confirm just be level 20 appears to be on both world tiers. So if you are struggling, you actually tune down the world tier, or turn down the world tier, I should say, to world tier 1, and you should still be able to get through Ashava at level 20 to get that cool mount trophy reward. Now, also, we have this notice, I guess you would call it, from Adam Fletcher, who says, console players may not be able to see friend invites on their list. We are aware of it, and there is a workaround for this issue. So, yes, they're working on that currently. Then we have this question. It says, could you please add gray eyes to the character creator? And Rod Ferguson does say we'll be adding more features to the character creator as we go. So, that's cool to note. Once again, they are reaffirming that they are willing to expand that as well. Now, on the PC side of things, some things going on. Check it out. It says from Nanny, who says, game is causing VTube Studio to become extremely laggy when you tab in. Had this issue in all 3 betas with the 37 Ti and 32 gigabytes of RAM. Memory leak seems fixed, but lag persists only with this game, even on low settings. Any idea what could cause this? Makes streaming sad. Thanks. And Adam Fletcher does say this, been seeing a bit of this, make note of it to the team. So it seems like, again, that is something they're looking into if you have noticed that problem. All right, so now it's time to get into your top comments. Remember, leave a comment down below. It can end up right here in a future video. My most recent video was this one right here. Diablo 4, a big warning, don't do this or regret it. Dev, respond, and much more. Check out that video if you missed it. A lot of great details, by the way, from the dev team responding in detail about the battle pass, stuff that you do not know about if you actually missed that video. So here we go. We have .50 who says, hey man, great work as always. Overall happy with the server slam. No wait time, and it's been super stable playing on PC. Legendary drops are just right. I actually get excited if one drops in the wild now, as opposed to the spam in Diablo 3. Hopefully uniques are even rarer. Can't wait till release. So again, you guys seem to be very happy with what they did with the loot. I'm kind of surprised. I thought there would be more people angry about that, but this is great to see. It goes to show that at least, Blizzard knows what they're doing on that front with the game. Now, also what you said about the server slam actually running well, we haven't talked about that. That is a huge positive. It is running so good compared to last time. I thought the first day was just going to be a mess, but I am very, very surprised you could just hop in. I've had minimal queue times, like practically 0. Let me know if that's the case with you all. Next up, we have this one from Angelic Emperor, who says, my only complaint about the game is that they still haven't made a dedicated gym bag. The game feels a bit more difficult. Loving it so far. Yeah, with some of the nerfs, the good thing is the game is feeling more challenging, which is something that I love about the Barbarian in the first place. It's just against those bosses. It's such a pain in the butt against many of the bosses. Also, yeah, with the gym bag thing, they are planning on adding a separate tab for gyms. So just know that that is official. And I don't know exactly when that would be happening, sometime post-launch. All right, we have this one right here. World Tier 2 is now the difficulty that I hope for. Bosses are now a fun challenge. I vote for, keep World Tier 2 this hard and don't buff the classes further. Oh, really? You don't think there should be any adjustments to the current classes at all? I'm curious to see what you think of the Necro, though. Do you think they need to at least buff the Skellies for the Necro? I think they need to make changes with the Necro. I mean, I'm certain that they will have to based on the outcry from Necro fans. But yeah, I hear you. I'm really enjoying the challenge over here for sure. But yes, the Necro has to be buffed. But thank you all so much for watching. Stay tuned here for more Diablo 4 coverage. And I've got you guys covered on all things open world gaming goodness as well. I hope to kind of like expand stuff, but it takes some time covering Diablo 4, and I'm just absolutely thrilled with how you guys are enjoying the video. I know I'm enjoying playing the game as well as covering the game. That's not usually the case. Usually we get to release and the game ends up being awful. And I have to still cover it, and I'm like, man, this is so disappointing what happened. But this one is just like, it's turning out pretty good so far. They just need to get the necro stuff and some nerfs adjust and balanced out. Yeah, but there it is. Thank you for watching, and I will see you all next time. Take care.